about 5 years ago.
6.
Okay. So, coming into the program as a participant, I had a chip on my shoulder, and I was very I was very insulted.
You had an ocean on the shoulder.
That I was asked to do a parenting program because I've been a parent for a long time. I felt like I didn't need any assistance. I knew what I was doing, and going through the program, I learned that there were aspects of parenting that I didn't have, and because of the Nurturing Fathers program, I was able to meet a couple more incredible gentlemen like Hajai and Fernando, who have been supporters of me on my journey. I currently work at the Family Nurturing Center. I'm a trainer. I'm a facilitator. I facilitated several Nurturing Fathers programs, and along with the support of John, Hajai, and Fernando, I travel around mostly with John throughout Massachusetts and now in other states promoting the Nurturing Fathers program.
In 2008, one perception in the black community is that when President Obama was elected, that somehow the opportunities for the black male prevailed. And we know that to be not true. We heard a statistic earlier about for every one black male that may be in college, 2.5 black males are in prison. And I think with that perception still lingering in our community, that it's a little sad. In one way it's an indictment, in another way it's a harsh criticism. One would think that if President Obama, being a person of color, is in office, and when you include the number of professional athletes and superstars who are minorities succeeding, that somehow that'll help present some type of model of prosperity spreading over to the community, but it does not. The reason why I think the father, focusing on African-American father this time is extremely important is for two reasons. One is we're still dying, and then secondly, we're still living in fear. And I'll conclude with this story, kind of going back to a question that Cora raised earlier, in terms of the stereotype about black people in their communities whipping their children as a way to remind them of being safe when they're outside of our neighborhoods. I had this very conversation with my 16-year-old about 2 months ago, and how we as black men are not free to go about in the communities at large. And as I was speaking to him, my hope was I'm not instilling fear into him, but being objective and giving some of the historical perspectives, as well as some of the more recent situations like Trayvon, and there's some others around the state as well that we don't hear as much about, so that he can be conscious about it. And as he looked at me, my 16-year-old son, he heard what I said, and I know he took it in, but it's still like a world so far removed from him that he still got to have his own experiences as a black male to really see what the structures and systems are later in life. And I really hope and pray that when he has those moments, when he's by himself and he gets pulled over by a policeman for whatever reason, and that he's able to handle himself appropriately. But then secondly, that he doesn't have to fear for his life.
Sit here, I think about role modeling. How do we learn the things that we learn? Through education and role modeling. And, it's unfortunate that, within the black community, that good, strong, positive role modeling is not always there. What do we see? A lot of times, we see the guy on the corner. He's selling drugs. He's making money. He got a flashy car. And that's what we learn growing up in the hood. And for a lot of kids, they don't really have a lot more to aspire to.
They don't.
They see that, and that's the aspiration, to get what he has, to be like him. And it's a very unfortunate situation, but in looking at that, when you have an individual who does some type of heinous crime, and we lock them up. A lot of times, we don't think to say, why did this happen? Let's dissect and go back to see what type of trauma that individual went through that got him to this point. We take them, we throw them away, lock them up, throw the key away, and forget about them. But there's a whole segment of trauma that doesn't get addressed.
So for me, evolution is something that that I'm very interested in, and I think that that this program is certainly a piece. And clearly, a 13-week program is not going to be enough to help to solve all the problems that we see in society. But from the good networks that have developed around me, from being involved in the Nurturing Fathers program, there's a lot of other hope that I see in helping us tap into other ways that we can grow as a society. And the last thing I'll say is this, is that, I think that clearly, when you look at, across the board of indicators that African Americans are at higher risk than our counterparts in this society for, father absence, for poverty, for a lot of ills. But, it's often the saying in our community that black folks are the canary in the coal mine, that, that the problems that afflict us are going to afflict all of America soon come, so that we should start to address them now.